Hey, so this is van video number 5 on the van build itself. I'm going to be recording this video from the van, and if you hear any background noise, it's because of my 2 Max Air fans going right now. In fact, the 2 fans that are running right now aren't the fans that were originally installed. So for future videos, I'll detail upgrades I've made from the road. This is just the final video on the changes I made from about December 2021 to the last week of March in 2022. So again, if you hear some background noise, I apologize about that. We're in Jackson, Wyoming right now, and it's a little bit hot out, and the van's parked in the sun. It's completely fine because I do have the 2 fans cycling air in and out, but I apologize for that background noise if you hear it. All right, let's jump in. So I had planned originally to do custom cabinetry, and ultimately delays caused by 2 specific things made it so that that wasn't going to be the path forward anymore. The 2 things were supply chain issues. I was experiencing delays in procuring materials. The second one was just my lack of experience. I wasn't able to accurately assess level of effort and when I would be able to deliver on certain projects throughout the van. So it became clear by the end of March, hey, I need to be starting to get on the road. Let's look at some prefabricated cabinets and see if we can find a fit. So I went to Home Depot, I went to Lowe's. Ultimately, I went with these Lowe's cabinets. Right here you see a 60-inch wide cabinet. I would pair it with another 24-inch wide cabinet, and I would put the 24-inch wide cabinet off to the left, and the 24-inch cabinet would house everything water related and sink related, as well as like cleaning products and supplies. And then what you see here would be dry storage. It would house the electric on the left hand side of that 60-inch cabinet that you see on the screen. And then I wasn't sure what I was going to use for the rest of the storage, but I knew I would need that storage because it's really accessible. So when I purchased these cabinets, they were pretty deep and they had a pretty large toe kick. So on the next picture right here, you're going to see that I actually already, with the help of a family friend, Chuck, shaved off 3 inches from the toe kick. So these cabinets were not as tall anymore. And then as you can see, I had marked this picture up. I then wanted to take 6 inches off the back of the cabinets and then reattach the backing of the cabinets so that I could create more of a hallway between the cabinetry and the bed. So that's what I did here over at my other family friend's house, my godparents' house, the Sellers, and we took the 6 inches off with this awesome circular saw with a laser, and then went back to Chuck's house and reattached the backing of those cabinets. So that was, it was still work. Even though I bought these prefabricated cabinets, it was still work because then even the drawers for the cabinets, I also had to cut those down. I had to cut the tracks for the drawers down. So it wasn't as simple as plug and play. I still had to do a significant amount of retrofitting, but it wasn't as difficult as it would have been. Then here on the next picture, I started to install some 2x3s attached to the ceiling and to the floor, and that would be a third cabinet, which would be a pantry cabinet. I believe the pantry cabinet is about 30 inches wide. It's got these 2 doors that open up, and that would be really great because the side door of the van, you can access those cabinets super easy. You don't even have to really get into the van to access them. So that's one of my favorite, probably is my favorite cabinet. And I wanted it suspended in the air so I could put the fridge underneath it. So in this next video, you're gonna watch me installing this cabinet and drilling it into the 2x3s attached to the ceiling and to the ground. All right, about to install pantry cabinet right here. So I've got 2 long 2x3s back there, attached to the ceiling and attached to the ground. And I'll be going straight through into them, up and down the length of this cabinet. And right now you can see it's level. Now you can see what the cabinets look like when they're at the appropriate height and the appropriate depth. You can also see this is just the 60-inch cabinet that's been installed here, and it's got those 4 cabinet doors. Then I would place that 24-inch cabinet on the far end, directly connected here, and I cut them down to the exact depth and to the exact height so that they looked like it was seamless. But I intentionally didn't install the backing or reinstall the backing of the 24-inch cabinet, because when you open the side door, you could then access the 24-inch cabinet, and I inevitably would put 2 4-gallon water jugs there. And so when I refill water, or when I have to get rid of some of the gray water, which is stored in a 5-gallon Home Depot orange bucket, then I could just open up the side doors and I could access them very conveniently. So the backing is currently on the long 60-inch cabinet here. It would not go back on the 24-inch cabinet there. Next up, I'm going to treat all of the cabinets, all of this oak, with the tried and true linseed oil and beeswax. Also, take a look in this next video. You will be able to see how I put the electric in. Basically just drilled a hole in the back of the wide cabinet and then fed it through, and that's where the electric would now be housed.
Some light, they hold a deal like venison. I'm not no Edison, my club don't got no membership, but I could use my penmanship to drop a couple gems.
So now that the cabinets were in, it was time to revisit the bed frame itself. Ultimately, I had been able to realize that vision and ran a track saw with the help of my buddy Steve. He helped me run a track saw along the length of the bed, create a 3/4 inch slot that you can see that 3/4 inch birch plywood is angled into on the bed. And we hadn't yet cleaned up some of the sawdust, so it's still a little bit rough here, but you start to see the vision that I had outlined in previous videos with the bed frame, where that's the back of the bed, but it also is able to serve as the bed extension. Then on top of that, I retained, or I kept like this dead space behind the pantry cabinet here on purpose. That way I was able to store bulky items like tents, sleeping pads, sleeping bags, camp chair, things like that, which don't have a snug spot in the storage options underneath the bed or in the cabinetry or even behind the seats in the cab of the van. This allowed me to take care of those things. Now you can start to see as well that the vision of extending the bed, like I was saying, is coming together because I've put the supports there, one long 2x3 along the length of the bed, and then 3 2x3s that have been notched alongside the cabinets so that I can place the back of the couch down and, like I said, make it a full-size bed. Just like I used birch here for that bed extension, I also used it for the countertop. So you can see then I start making a place for the bowl for the sink. My dad built a copper sink or faucet head itself, and I would use that on a foot pump. Then I placed the countertop on the 60-inch and the 24-inch cabinets here just to confirm the fit. And then I would install the countertop on here and would start treating the rest of the cabinetry, such as the drawers you see there, and then the countertop itself with linseed oil and beeswax, which you'll see in this video. Coming down to it. Last, probably last video here. I'm just treating the countertops here. It's a birch countertop. And I'll show you the color. So we got some treated over here, not treated over here, making the wood pop. Also just treated these cabinets here. So we're coming down to it. Departure date is tomorrow. This van is not 100% ready. I'd said it's 80% ready, but we're gonna launch. We're gonna get on the road. We're gonna finish small projects here and there on the road. So this won't be the last van video, but as far as the initial build goes, probably the last video. Having dinner with family and friends tonight to say goodbye, so. All right. Things were starting to look good now that the linseed oil and the beeswax was applied. It doesn't typically carry this shine on the countertop that you see there. That was more so just because I took the picture right after I completed, but still you'll see some pictures later on and it really makes the grain pop. Here's a picture of me the night before departure after a gathering with family and friends, just hanging out in the new abode. Here are also some folks that helped out with the build. My sister Jess and her boyfriend Don, my godbrother Matt, my dad, and plenty others. Unfortunately, I didn't get pictures with everyone who helped with the build, but these were just some photos we took the night before I left. So just to recap, this is what the van looked like when I first purchased it. It had been converted, but I wanted to make a number of aesthetic updates and functional updates as well. Then we pulled everything out. The van looked like this, and now we've got some photos of the final product. And again, I'm just so happy with going with the birch for the back of the couch and with the countertop, because it really made things pop for that reason. And when the van looks good all the time, but really at night when you turn on the lights and it kind of glows and has a little bit of a cabin feel with it. So that's the end of the van build video series. I'm sure I'll be producing some more stuff about whether it's time on the road or updates to the van build that I've made while on the road. I'm sure I'll include some of that stuff here on this YouTube channel, but thanks for watching along. And I joke, I don't know if I've had more fun living in the van, because I'm now recording this in August of 2022 and I completed the van roughly 4, almost 5 months ago now, and I've lived in it that entire time. Had some hiccups along the way, as you naturally would, but I don't quite know. It'll take some time for me to reflect on whether or not I had more fun building it or more fun living in it, because certainly this was a great project and it helped improve my woodworking skills, and it was just great to work on something tangible as somebody who works on a laptop most every day. All right, thanks for watching.